Well, good morning, everyone. Aloha kakahiaka. Welcome to Living in Hawaii. I am Misty Padilla from Hawaii Island, and I have the pleasure of having Sasha, Josie, and Caleb joining us today. Let's go ahead and start really quick, starting with Caleb. Go ahead and introduce yourself and just say a little bit of something about you that you'd like to share with the world.
My name is Caleb Dosel. I'm originally from Oahu, but I live here on Big Island now. Um, I really like to surf and train on my days off when I'm not doing real estate.
Awesome. Welcome. How about for you, Josie?
Hi, my name is Josie Coleman, and I came to the Big Island from the Oregon coast. And I live on the south part of the Big Island. And honestly, I know that we're going to talk about a lot of adventurous stuff, but my favorite thing to do is just wander and walk around and in places where you have marked trails and things like that. But I really love just kind of wandering and exploring the whole island.
Beautiful. And of course, Sasha.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Sasha Thompson. I'm out of Kapolei, Oahu. And welcome to the show. We're happy that you are joining us. And yeah, happy to be here.
Happy Aloha Friday. Yes, for those of you joining, please visit livinginhawaii.com. We are here to bring you some up-to-date information on today's topic. We're going to be talking about island adventures on each island that we can share. I am from Kailua Kona on Hawaii Island, born and raised local girl here, and we just love doing all things. Let's go ahead and start with Oahu. Since the three of us on here are from Hawaii Island, let's go ahead and start with Oahu, Sasha. What is your family's favorite outdoor adventure to do at this time?
Just going to the beach and catching surf because we got great surf here and nice white sandy beaches and a lot of safe zones, a lot of lifeguards. So we just like being at the ocean and fishing and surfing and camping.
Beautiful. Let's go ahead and talk about that first. Safety. Hawaii is known, of course, for our most beautiful and pristine beaches. If you can go ahead and share with me maybe your top 3 camping beaches and your top 3 surfing beaches. We're going to talk about all things because all the beaches vary here. I mean, at least I know it does for Hawaii Island. There are certain beaches that you can camp at and certain beaches that you cannot surf at and vice versa. So go ahead and share with us about Oahu.
Okay, so camping. We grew up camping down on the east side of like Bellows and Waimanalo. And that's like my favorite spot to be at just because you catch like the morning sunrise and the beach is nice and blue and sandy and just real good for families. Next place I would say is go up the coast to like North Shore area to like Malaikahana. And that's also kind of like Bellows, kind of same feel, lots of ironwood trees and shade and stuff. And there's like cabins and things you can rent. And then I'd say west side, I'd go like Nanakuli. And it's also nice and sandy there. Lots of families go and you start on the east side for your sunrise and you go to the west side for your sunsets. And like the sunsets out there are spectacular. So yeah, those are my 3 favorite spots for camping. And then what was the other ones?
Surfing.
The other question?
Surfing.
Oh, for surfing. Okay, so surfing, our skilled surfers would probably be up in North Shore, but it's summertime, so North Shore is flat usually. Like you can go fishing up there this time of year and boating and things. And surf you'll find more on like the south side of the island right now, like Waikiki and Sandies and Makapu'u and those types of places. If you've never surfed before and you're a light swimmer and you want to try it, stay in Waikiki. You can rent a longboard there. You can, rent a canoe and just go play and have fun, and it's safe. If you've never done it, just sit back and watch because it's a great sport and very entertaining, and you'll see just some of the best skilled surfers in the world here.
Absolutely right. I just love that. Sasha, on a lot of the places that you made mention, do you know if reservations in advance are needed, particularly for camping and those sites that you need access to if you're staying for a night or so? Are reservations required?
Yeah, good question. Yep. So permitting for camping, definitely all those camping spots you do need a permit, and you'll need to. I don't know if it's like online now, or we used to have to go wait in line at like different offices, but you can go online and check, and it is a paid permit too. Okay, so camping is not free anymore, but and then I think there's time frames too. I believe it's like Thursday to Tuesday, and then like Wednesdays there's not really camping allowed, and I believe that's so like we can clean the parks and stuff like that. But yeah, camping is awesome.
Very good. And another concern that I know many would always ask is safety. Do a lot of the places that you made mention, do they have active lifeguards on duty during those times?
Yes, most of our beaches on Oahu have active lifeguards. um, there's a few that there aren't, but those are not really like
Popular.
I want to say they're more secret spots, like more local spots where our kids grow up swimming, and so we don't really worry too much. But I want to say 90% of our um, active beaches do have lifeguards.
Very good. And then, of course, like you said, local spots. Ask a local. That's what we're here for. We're happy to help guide you and assist you and educate you at the same time. Safety is always of great importance. And of course, protecting our land. Everything is sacred and so beautiful here in Hawaii that we always want to bring the education to those that are coming to visit or decide to move, that you do things rightful. Let's move on over to Hawaii Island. We're going to start with the south side. I know Josie and, of course, Caleb just recently moved in that area as well. Josie, go ahead and share with us your favorite outdoor adventures in your location.
Well, when we were talking about camping, like I really love going to Ho'okena, and it's kind of the all-in-one beach for me. Like if you can go and get a camp spot, then you've got the beautiful morning. And I don't surf, but I do bodyboard, and so there's a lot of that. It's a little bit easier. I mean, I'm an old lady, so I like to have, I got to have my little bodyboard so I can feel like I accomplished something. Surfing might be too much for me, but yeah, I love Ho'okena. It's such a beautiful beach, and I really also love Whittington Beach, and that's near Na'alehu, and that is more of like a go to it for the day. I think they do have camping there, but it's another, again, you'd want to look into the permitting. But I love it just as the day beach because it's like 10 minutes from my house. So those are my two favorites.
And of course, I know for my favorite down south is Green Sands Beach. I don't get to go there as often as I would like to because of the access, which on Hawaii Island, I do want to make note. A lot of the beaches that you would like to go and see, you do need four-wheel drive. So that's also a very big one that, you need to be mindful of when you are coming to our island is don't be taking your car for off-roading to all of these locations. And Green Sand Beach is
just buy the insurance now.
it's one thing, you see a lot of the tourists, you can tell when they're here because you see them trying to four-wheel drive on the most treacherous roads, and you're like, oh, somebody needs to help them. So don't be that person, reach out to us, give us a call, jump online and let us help you and guide you. It'll save you a lot. Are you laughing? I know you're laughing, Sasha. So it pulls me off subject, but I don't know if you folks recall, there were numerous times where rented vehicles were ending up in the harbor.
The
Do you
ocean.
recall that?
Yes.
Like
In the harbor.
literally.
Different incidents.
Yes. I remember that.
Okay, Caleb remembers, and he was on Oahu before, so you chime in because I don't remember this story.
Caleb, go ahead and share. We do need to talk about it, you guys, because it's part of educating the people.
How would they end up in the harbor?
Caleb, go ahead and enlighten us.
Yeah.
So, these two tourists were in a car and they were down at the harbor trying to find parking to go on the manta ray snorkeling adventure at night. And
At night?
At night, yes.
The whole story is all wrong.
They pulled up to the dock, the ramp, and when they
It kept
found out it was too
going
late,
and
it just kept going and going, and they couldn't stop. They couldn't reverse. It just kept going, and they ended up in the water swimming. And
Oh
people
my
from
gosh.
the charter boat started jumping in to go save them. They're throwing floaties. It was crazy.
the crazy part to me though on that is that was it's not just one. I swear after that it was happening multiple times, like probably 5 times I can count on different
Yeah.
islands that they were just literally driving into the harbor. Maybe it was a trend by then. I don't know, but
That's
GPS
it.
on
Yes,
it
yes.
GPS does not take you to specific locations, but just be smart, everyone. Do your due diligence, be vigilant, be smart. You don't see an activity directly in the ocean. If you're not a boat, don't drive into the ocean.
Don't try it. Oh, I got another one. Don't be renting Jeeps and then trying to jump on our beaches and go drive in the sand.
Yeah.
Because that's
Exactly.
stupid. Like
That's
I see
ole.
so many people getting stuck in the sand on North Shore and on the west side, thinking they can just go off-roading and go, drive
Rambling.
to the ocean and make the video and stuff, and then they're stuck digging their Jeeps out.
Then you got to ask the local uncles on the beach to pull you out.
And
you
that's
know?
what happens. The local bradas will sit there
Yes.
and watch and laugh. They'll let you sit there for an hour and try and dig yourself out. And then they'll be like, okay, we go help them. If you're lucky, they'll help you.
Yeah.
And they'll, but don't do
Just buy
it.
you a tow truck.
If
and
your
make
car
sure-
has a barcode on it, like don't be driving off the pavement, man.
For
It's so
sure.
good advice. Really good advice.
How about for you, Caleb? What can you share with us on your favorite activities, beach activities that you like to do on our island?
One of my favorites is going down to KA and going kayaking. Taking a little kayak ride down to the monument and checking out all the fishes. It is like a fish sanctuary, so you don't have active fishermen, you don't have active divers in that area, so fish are very abundant there. You take your snorkeling gear and then you just go snorkeling after paddling out there. And then another thing is going surfing. I like to go surfing at Banyans. Kahalu'u is where my family likes to go because they have a surf business out there. And that's a really good surf spot for beginners when the waves are at a really good height. I would recommend not going there when the waves are very, very big. Try to stay on the inside. But yeah, those are my favorite activities here on the Big Island.
Very good. And same for me, besides Green Sand Beach, which we can't camp at. You just go and spend the day there. My favorite camping spots on Hawaii Island would be Makalavena, which you do need four-wheel drive. Things have changed significantly growing up. When we were little, we had access to all these most beautiful beaches, as a family. But now as time has passed, you get locked out of these areas and you no longer can go. So in the areas that you can go, you do need a permit. So yes, go and look online, pull your permits, do your due diligence, to find the perfect spot. But most importantly, take care of the land. Whatever trash you go in with, make sure you come out with it and more. You leave the place. I know Sasha can agree with me. You leave it better than what you found, and just take care of the land. Use the right sunscreens, take care of your opala, all the things that we want to do to educate so that we can continue to keep Hawaii beautiful. It's so important, to each of us because like Sasha said, the beach it's our everyday life. It's our everyday living, and we cannot enjoy it if everyone doesn't do their part in keeping it beautiful, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and talk about other adventures. I know hiking is huge for all the islands. And again, we're just going to keep talking about safety because a lot of people like to do social media and whatever's trending. They go through all these trails and off-roading and it just becomes unsafe. So let's go ahead and talk about popular hiking activities on each island. Josie, you have any hikes that you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, I really like on the south side the Kohuku Unit. It's a whole area and it's got a variety of how hard it is. I can't think of the word, but a variety of different kind of hikes. So you can just wander around, like how I was saying, I like to wander around. And then if I feel like doing a little bit harder of a hike, they've got a great map. They have people there for the most part the whole time if you ever have any questions. And I like how it's well marked. They even have, the trails are well worn and it's very obvious where you can go and where you can't go. But it's beautiful up there because you get to see old like cinder cones, and it's just it keeps your imagination alive because there's all these native plants, and you can imagine what it was like before the lava flow, and it's very quiet and beautiful up there. I love it.
So awesome. How about for you, Caleb? Anything you'd like to share?
I mean, a lot of the hiking I've done has been in Oahu. And I would say half of the hikes I've done are illegal hikes that you can no longer do anymore. But one of the hikes that I enjoyed doing is the Lanikai Pillboxes. It's about a 30-minute hike. I would suggest bringing covered shoes because it does get steep in the beginning. Bring water and stay on the paths. Don't go veering off into any unknown paths and trying to make your own because it can get very dangerous there. Another one, if you're a very advanced hiker, would be the Pololu Lookout. That one I would very strongly caution doing because it is 1,000-foot drops on each side. So really, really be very experienced going on that hike.
Beautiful. And how about for you, Sasha? Any that you'd like to share on Oahu?
There's, like he said, the Lanikai Pillbox on the east side. On the west side, there's a Miley Pillbox, and it's like you can see it from the road. But it's a little ways up. It's a little steep climb, and you got really great views. He probably went on like Stairway to Heaven and stuff like that, which is being dismantled. And then the Pololu Lookout, like they totally blocked off the whole old road. You can't even, it's like
this
fenced off. You can't even go down it anymore. And I would say probably just like easy ones, Diamond Head and Coco Head. Coco Head, if you like stairs. You want to pretend like you're going Stairway to Heaven, you can go Coco Head instead.
I did that one. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I just thought about
our teammate Patrick climbs it like every day.
Another good hiking spot would be the botanical gardens. If you want to see a lot of floral things, a lot of native trees, going into any botanical gardens is a great easy hike, and I would suggest that as well as a hike.
Very good. So true, especially on our east side of Hawaii Island. Everything is just so lush and beautiful. For me, my favorite hikes, Pololu Valley for sure. That's on Kohala side of Hawaii Island. And of course, Waipio. Those are just of cultural significance to me. So my family loves doing those. And of course, for those, everything, like I said, is always trending. Everyone wants to go into the valleys. But again, you have to exercise caution. And of course, always come with aloha. You can't just come and be rambling here and there because a lot of these places are very, very sacred and just so beautiful. But I do need to share, I've lived here all my life, right? And I was able to go for the very first time to hike Hi'ilave, I want to say maybe 3 years ago. And it was just absolutely breathtaking, like just in awe, taking in all the elements and just so emotional, being able to see this just majestic waterfalls. It was just so awesome. So Hi'ilave was definitely my favorite by far. Let's go ahead and talk about, I know the volcano on our island, Hawaii Island, sorry, Sasha, is always a big draw to everyone. And unfortunately, I have not gone to Kilauea yet. Recently, to see all the flow. Josie, Caleb, have you folks gone at all anytime recently?
I'm actually planning on going tonight because I want to go at night, and I honestly go to bed so early. I've had to build up to this day. I'm like, all right, here we go, because it's so beautiful. I mean, I've been up there when it's during the day too, and it's still gorgeous, and it just is mind blowing no matter when you go. But at night, it's just so magical. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, go ahead and share your action plan. For those viewers that are watching and tuning into us, go ahead and share what your plan is and how you prepared for this activity.
Yeah, so with this idea, I mean, honestly, I do recommend bringing water. It's not that far to walk, but you kind of stand there and kind of you're there for a long time. I do always tell people when they're planning on going that if you have any kind of breathing issues or asthma, just be aware, have the things that you need with you there, because when the volcano is going off, it feels very foggy to those that have breathing issues. And you just need to know, call ahead or look online to see what it costs to get into the park, and just be patient. Because I will say, like right now, because it's been going off intermittently, that when it's going off, there's going to be a lot of people there. And I drove over to the east side the other day, midday, and it was a long line up to the volcano. So definitely exercise patience. And for sure, when you're there, if you're wandering around, what you said earlier, Misty, about just respecting the land and respecting the pathways that they have for you, you really need to follow that, because you could very easily walk into a lava tube, a hole, something that's unstable. And people, I don't think, quite understand that that is something, especially when you have kids, like keep an eye on them and keep them on the path.
Right. Very, very good. Great words of advice there. How about you, Caleb? Any volcano activity for you and your family?
Um, Last time we actually went to the volcano it's been a few years, so it hasn't been recent. We did go and check out the killer whale eruption. When we had to drive up Saddle like 3.5 hours. So yeah, that was fun. I mean, it's great to go because you do see the lava, and it's something that most people don't get to see in their lifetime. If they don't get to fly out to Big Island or anywhere that has an active volcano. So it is a great sight to see, just seeing big, tall fountains of lava just pouring out of the earth. Like it's very mesmerizing.
Beautiful word there. I have to share that when Mauna Loa erupted a few years ago, like that caught me completely off guard. Never, ever in a million years did I ever think that mountain, would erupt again. But for those of you, tuning in, we live on an island with active volcanoes. Yes, they're extinct, but they're active volcanoes. Like, how crazy is that, you guys? But to us, it's just normal, right? We just embrace all the elements, but once we got word that Mauna Loa was erupting, like that was just huge for us, because we never ever thought that would happen. And immediately we packed up the kids and we drove over, and it was just so beautiful. A lot of people, they'll freak out. You can see online that they cancel flights, cancel hotels, because everyone's freaking out that the volcano is erupting. And here you have us locals running to the fire, running to the flow, just like high surf, right? Whenever there's high surf, out of the water, you see all the kids running to the surf.
Funny.
That's how we
Oh, a hurricane! Great, let's go surf.
That was literally what it was in high school. Hurricane surf.
yes, nobody goes
Waves
to
are up.
school. So true. Sasha, do you have any volcanic experience that you'd like to share with us?
I got to go see it in high school, back in like the 90s, but it was just like the smoke coming out of the crater, and you could go up to like the volcano house and the museum and stuff and see like is it the seismograph, the graph charts that show like the stuff. And I remember that kind of stuff. A couple of years ago when it erupted, we tried to go up and we didn't see anything. And I'm on Oahu and there's no volcanoes here. So when you go when you go climb Diamond Head and Coco Head, that's our volcanoes. Like that's the remnants of it right there. So yeah, I get people landing on the island and they get mad because the volcano isn't here and they have to get on another plane.
Right. People don't realize that, we are separated by ocean on all the islands. They think
Yeah.
that we can just drive over to each island or paddle a canoe. We can't. We need to fly.
Yeah.
Yep.
While
we get
we're
the
talking,
super ferry back up.
right, it'd be so cool. I can see you more often if so.
Yeah, I packed my truck up and I wouldn't come home back to Oahu. That's what happened.
Too funny. And while we're talking about land activities, let's go ahead and shift gears and let's go to the sky. So let's go ahead and talk about all the activities that we can do that are not land related, such as helicopter tours, zip lining, parasailing, all the things. I can only speak into zip lining and, of course, flying in the airplane, zip lining and helicopter. I have been deathly afraid of riding the helicopter. I don't know if you folks can say the same, but I must say, like for years, it's just me. And I used to sell helicopter tours, working in concierge at Four Seasons for years. I couldn't for myself. Like I was just always so scared, you guys. And I overcame that fear a few years ago. But the crazy thing is, I took all my kids with me. Like that's how crazy cuckoo I was, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go on this helicopter without my family. I packed up my kids, and I remember my dad saying like, wow, you could have at least left one home.
If I'm going down, we're all going down.
Exactly. So that was my thought, like crazy, because you see so much, and again, here you're promoting such a beautiful activity, and the best way you can see our island is definitely by air. And I can tell you honestly, I was so scared. I really was. And I told them that. I'm like, you guys need to promise me, I want to see your credentials that you can fly me and my family safely, and promise me that, I'm going to come back alive, because I was so scared. And so what I did is I started just around the airport area. Like we did not go over to the volcano onto the Hilo side. We just did the coastline, and just that in itself, I cried because it was just so beautiful. And I haven't gone on it since then, but I do encourage, go and take a helicopter tour, if you can. It is pretty pricey, but the companies that our island has, offers, they're very legit. Do your research, but go take the time and take a helicopter tour to see our island. I don't know if you folks have experienced that. Go ahead and share if you're as crazy as I am.
Yeah, I've done the helicopter tour on Kauai, and I remember feeling the same way, except I was like delayed, Misty. Like I was walking towards the helicopter, and as I was getting in, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Am I afraid of this? I have no idea. I've never done this before. And the guy who was the pilot, I said, so what am I supposed to ask you to make myself feel better? Like, how long have you been doing this? And he goes, oh, I was a Vietnam vet. I've done, and that just like calmed me down, because I thought that guy has lived through a lot more than taking me on a little tiny ride. But it was crazy with the doors. There's no doors, and you just think, I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, but you definitely have those thoughts every once in a while, the intrusive thoughts of like, what would happen if I fell out, and you've got one little seatbelt on, but it's very safe. I mean, these guys have done it forever. I know. I'm like, I made it, so it must have been safe. But I love that
for you guys.
Sure, it's safe. You just fly without doors. Why not?
No big deal.
Well, our Jeep didn't have doors, but
yeah.
So crazy, you guys. Caleb, I see you laughing. Speak up. What's your experience with helicopters?
I don't have experience. I am deathly scared of heights and flying. So yes, helicopters is a no-no for me, especially, rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. After that incident, I'm never riding a helicopter. But, I do have family members that, have gone on it. And I mean, I've been on a plane where I'm sitting at the window seat looking at the island, and that is beautiful. And I can just imagine being on a helicopter, because at least a helicopter, you can actually adventure the island. On a plane, you only have this certain route you can go. When you see the island is beautiful from air, and it's something I would love to see, but probably would not see from a helicopter.
That's how I felt. I was like, planes glide, helicopters just go down.
Yeah, they be entering valleys and everything, and I'm just thinking like, what about the wind? And what about I haven't been on a helicopter either. No. On Oahu, we do have them though. Like, when I was living on East Side, I would see them come all the time, and you knew there was three types of choppers: the fire, the police, and then the tourists. And the tourists would come and they fly over and they fly into like Sacred Falls, and they go around the valleys and they go along the ridgeline of the Kolau and stuff. And I can just imagine how unbelievably beautiful that is. I've just never experienced it. But on Oahu, we do have, I'm just changing the, a lot of people like jump out of airplanes over here. I haven't done that either, and I don't plan on it. But it's something you can do if you're on Oahu and you want to see it from above. You can jump out of an airplane, and that's actually a really popular thing here. A lot of people come and do that. It's like a bucket list type thing.
Yeah.
Definitely not on my bucket list.
No, not mine either.
I've done it. I've done it once. Can say I've done it. I'm good.
Going on hikes in the air is enough for me. I need to touch the ground.
Right. Stay close to the ocean whenever you're flying. I'm like, go closer to land so the impact.
I want the doors to stay shut.
Too funny. Have any of you done parasailing? I have not. It is definitely on my list. Any of you can speak into that activity at all?
No.
None of us?
I haven't done it either. You can't do it here, though.
Well, I'm going to challenge you at some point, maybe within the year or so. Let's put a challenge out there that you're going to do something that you need to overcome your fear of. I did mine on the helicopter. Now my next one will be like parasailing or whatever it is. But let's do it. Okay. So next time we're circling back on this show, I'm going to ask you, what activity did you do to overcome your fear? And you better have something in store for me.
Oh,
we're doing it. I know, Sasha.
I'm not telling my fear to nobody.
Smart.
Too funny. Too funny.
That'll be a follow-up.
Yeah.
We'll have to actually film it and make a whole other show about it.
We do.
That would be so fun.
We totally do. I'm going to switch back to the ocean because, again, our ocean activities are just so phenomenal here. Let's talk about whale watching, dolphins, all of our marine life, because a lot of people like to come to Hawaii Island to experience that. So, Josie, let's start with you. What is your experience with any of these activities and our marine life?
Yeah, I love snorkeling. Two-step down in or up for me in Honanao is a beautiful place to go snorkeling. And I will say the first thing I learned when I moved here is I had just snorkeled with a mask and fins before, and I could tell everyone that lived here also had like noodles and vests and things. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And then I realized it's not that they're not strong swimmers, it's that they stay out in the water a lot longer and you can relax. And so I started implementing that too. I love it because you have the little noodles so you can follow whatever color your friends are in the water. But one of the things I've done a few times is go sailing out of Honoka. Yes, Honokahau. Thank you. And I really am amazed when you go sailing and you don't have the motor going and it's just really slow and you're following the wind.
So
it's
serene.
Fascinating. Yes. And you see the dolphins, and I've seen a whale, but pretty far away. But it's so beautiful, and it's magical for sure.
It totally is. Being going from land to sea, my experience, I love paddleboarding, and again, always check the weather, check your area, check all the elements before you just diving into all these things, because it shifts very, very rapidly. But yes, being able to see the ocean activities, being able to see the land from the ocean is a whole different experience. Like driving on land, looking at the ocean, you see, oh, beautiful. But when you're in the ocean and then looking at the land, it's like, oh my gosh, I've never seen our island as beautiful, seeing it through the eyes of our marine life. Caleb, can you agree with me there?
Yes, I can.
Or you don't like to go in the water too?
Oh, no, that's my second home. I could be my first home.
Yeah.
He's a merman.
You stay close to land, right?
Oh no, sometimes I venture too far. I find myself swimming back too far.
Too funny. How about for you, Sasha? Do you get much ocean activities on Oahu that you
Oh,
experience?
Oahu is awesome for ocean activities because our beaches, like, they're not, they don't go super deep real quick, and they're not rocky. Most of them are real sandy, so you got a lot of stuff. You can do kayaking, you can do scuba, you can do snorkeling. Like, you can go Hanama Bay, Sharks Cove for snorkeling. You can rent boats in like Kaneohe or out in like Honolulu area and go scuba diving. You can jump on those boats and go whale watching and dolphin tours. And um, Friday night, the Hilton shoots off fireworks, and so like you can rent a firework cruise, and they'll do dinner and they'll do music, they'll do drinks, and you watch the fireworks at night. And then you can, there's a lot of ocean stuff to do here. Lots.
So cool. I love that. And yes,
Yeah.
of course, friendly reminders is always taking care of the land, right? Don't be leaving your opala, wear the reef friendly sunscreen, all the things that you can do to take care
Don't
of
dump rubbish in the ocean. If you're on the
No.
boat, pick it up.
Yep.
Fishing or
Don't
diving.
touch the turtles.
Yes,
Don't go touching the
let's talk
whales.
about that. That is important. Thank you, Sasha. Let's talk about that.
Don't
You
touch
don't-
turtles. Don't touch seals. Don't, our wildlife is precious and they're endangered. And Hawaiians, we look at them as like our family. They're like our ancestors and stuff. So you just have respect. And if you see like a sea lion, a monk seal like roped off, let it be. Don't let your dogs go and chase them.
Right.
Don't try and ride turtles when you're in the ocean. Like,
Or
it's
dolphins,
not Moana. No.
right? Or you're going to
Right.
be that person that you're going to get blasted on social media. You're going to end up on all the social media platforms.
You don't
You're
want
gonna
to be that guy.
news.
Yep.
Be that person.
Yep.
For sure. We love all of our marine life here. Thank you for sharing. Any other activities that I missed, guys? It just feels like there's so much that we can do. Horseback riding. We forgot about that. Yes.
Oh yeah.
I love that here. So, of course, in Waimea, the God's country in Waimea, and of course, Waimanalo for Oahu, horseback riding is so, so beautiful here in our islands. And there's different companies that do offer that experience. Or, of course, locally, you just go and talk to your ohana and have them saddle up the horses, and you folks can go ahead and ride ranch land. But yes, let's talk about horseback riding. Any of you can speak into that experience at all?
Yeah, I love it. I've done the horseback riding tour on South Point at sunset, and that's just incredible. I mean, yeah, I loved it. I love horseback riding.
For sure. And I noticed that a lot of the horseback riding activities, they're coupled with ATV riding as well. So yes, I do recommend having to go with a trusted company. If you're not going with locals, go with a trusted company so that you can stay safe and stay on the path that's designated for these tours, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
How about you, Sasha?
Oahu, there's a couple of places. Kualoa Ranch is like a really good one. They do horseback tours. And they got like short rides and long rides, and then they got ATVs, which I highly recommend. It's so much fun. And they go into like the valley where all the movies were shot, and so you can see like the big dinosaur footprint and stuff. But like Missy said, yeah, find a reputable company. And I don't really know. I know families that have horses and stuff, but they ain't just gonna saddle up their horses for you. You know what I mean? It's not like that here. Like there's actually companies that do it on Oahu. You can do that, horseback and ATVs and zip lining and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very nice. Well, do you folks feel we've shared all of our island with what we've talked about on our activities? I feel like there's just so much more to share, or maybe I just don't want to end our day right now because we're having so much
Fishing.
Fishing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fishing. That's
Yes, Caleb, thank you. Go ahead and Enlighten us.
So I do a lot of spearfishing on my free time. That's one of my favorite activities is, getting down in the water and seeing a whole different world than what we live in every day. And my number one rule when I go spear diving or even fishing is always take what you need and never take more.
Absolutely.
We live on the island. We are limited on the type of fish. I mean, the amount of fish we have here. So if you're taking more, the next person won't have, or the next generation won't have. So that's one rule I would put out there.
Yeah.
A couple other spots I like to go out here in Big Island is Ke'e. That's some place I would like to go kayaking, but I also do my diving there as well because there's this. It goes from shallow and then it just goes to big drops of caves and nooks and crannies, and you just see all kind of wildlife. Like one time I was out diving, we seen a pot of dolphins. I've had a stingray chase me for my fish.
Wow.
I've seen sharks, I've seen turtles, and it's another world down in the water. If you are, and if you're somebody like me that likes to go diving or spearfishing, it's something us locals love to do here. One of my favorite spots in Oahu would have to be down by where would I say, Point Panic area, Townside. That one is, I like it down there because it's just enough deep. It's good for beginners, and you're not going too far from the shore. And that's one thing I like to do. And another thing you need to know is there's certain beaches and certain places that you can't fish and you can't spearfish as well. So you always want to make sure and check with the local county of where you can and cannot fish. So.
Right. And the seasons too, especially for lobster, right? We do have lobster season. You cannot get lobster when it's not lobster season.
Yep.
And then there's also like rules, like DLNR, I think, has rules on like the size of your fish, and you don't want to be taking the babies. Or
Right.
you don't want to be wiping out the females and things like that. So
have a flag, and a flag when you go out. So
buoy, marker.
I see
and a buddy.
Yes,
buddy.
Number one rule is always have a buddy. At least have one buddy with you.
Minimum of one.
Yeah, one.
Yeah.
Minimum. Yeah. Always check on your buddy every 5 to 10 minutes. Just look for him because you just never know. Within a minute, he might just be gone.
So, the water will drift you away.
Yes.
Yeah. Be careful.
For sure. Thank you for sharing that. That's super important on our island. Fishing. Hello. Super important. And then, like you said, only take what you need. And then, of course, whatever you catch, you can catch and release, or when you do catch, you're going to take it to eat it, clean it safely and nicely. Don't make any kind, as we say. There is proper protocol. So ensure that you follow through all of these, protocols. Reach out to us. Ask a local. We can definitely assist.
And if you're fishing, make sure you take your fishing line with you.
Good point. Good point.
For sure.
And ice and snacks.
Sunscreen, your umbrella. Just pack your whole house.
Yeah. That is something I was thinking about with this is that, when you're coming to visit the islands, do your research before you come, or at least know the signs of, because I know people like to wander when they're on vacation, and you want to know oh, I see this sign, I shouldn't go that way. Or especially with fishing and things like that, you guys are talking about all the rules. It's really important to do that research before you show up, because you get lost when you get here, and you get excited. So know your info before.
Yeah.
So true. Thank you so much for sharing that, Josie. As we wrap it up, just as Josie said, let's go ahead and give our last final closing thought. Anything that you'd like to share. For those of you tuning in again, we thank you. Thanks for visiting. Thanks for tuning into livinginhawaii.com. We are here to assist and guide you and educate you in any way. Sasha, go ahead and wrap us up with any closing thoughts that you may have.
I just want to thank you all for being here and tuning in today. And we're here to help. So give us a shout out when you get on island, and we're happy to help. Aloha.
Beautiful. Caleb?
My last closing thoughts would be just malama na aina and the people. Malama meaning take care and respect. So yes, aloha.
Beautiful. Ditto. And anything else for you, Josie?
I always tell people, when in doubt, don't push it. When you're in your rental car and you think you can do something, if you have that inkling, just don't do it.
Great words of wisdom there.
Buy the insurance.
Yeah.
And then for me, as I always say, aloha living everywhere you go. Thank you, everyone. Have a blessed day. Don't hesitate to reach out to us. And again, visit livinginhawaii.com for more information. Thanks for tuning in. Have a blessed day. Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.
Aloha.